Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on CW11.
Well, a very pleasant good afternoon and welcome into Home Track Heroes once again here on the CW11. My name is Caleb Hart, joined for the first time here on Home Track Heroes, in the booth at least, by DT on TV. It's Derek Todoroff here in the booth hanging out with us. Derek, we got an exciting show today. 4 extremely fun classes, including 125 laps in the Pro Late models to finish our day off.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of great excitement ahead. The Superstock figure eights consistently have put on a show along with street stocks all season long, so I, for one, real pumped to see what we got tonight.
We're going to get mini stocks, street stocks, super stock figure eights. We've got the Pro Late models coming up to finish things off at a 125-lap feature on the 3/8 mile. That is going to be very cool. Driver reunion night as well. A lot of familiar faces and Hall of Famers out in the crowd and in the pit area, and if we get a chance to highlight any of them, we will do so. But for now, we got to get to racing action. This is the BECU mini stocks. We're going to give you one of their heat races here to start us off. 5 cars going 8 times around the 3/8. Jason Engbaum on the pole. Lewis and Main Restaurant and Brewery in Monroe, his sponsor. Next to him, Michael Fritz, the 2 car, sponsored by Crooks and Kings Barber Company.
Starting in third, sponsored by Tom's Automotive, that's the 24 of Jaden Kelly. On her outside, sponsored by Clean Crawls, that's the J21 of Justin Brave.
And the 16 of Travis Woodward rounds us out. Brava Pizza in Snohomish. Big special thanks to them for Travis this week. As we will get on the gas, the green flag is out. Michael Fritz, nice start from the outside groove. He'll roll his way into turn number 1. He's got the early advantage as they exit turn number 2.
You see Brave make that move on the outside, get by Engbaum and Kelly, now going to put pressure right on the back end of Michael Fritz as they go into turn number 3. Meanwhile, back battle for 4th, Woodward working that low lane, trying to make something happen.
Good job, Woodward, already picking his way through the crowd. 1, 2, 3, Fritz, Brave. And then Travis working his way down low. Brave riding a lot of momentum right now, granted just a heat race, but coming off his first feature win, already poking his nose to the inside of Fritz, and it's made a lot for Justin Brave if he can make the pass and get a heat race win and continue some of that positive momentum from a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, indeed. That J21 car has proven to be fast time and time again. You see it kick out those back wheels just that little bit through turns 2 and 4. As now we see, looks like Woodward going to take a shot to the low side on the inside of Michael Fritz for that second place spot.
Nice move by Woodward. Car looking good, again, early on in the race day. Heat races, they're for track points towards the track championship, but no pay and no bearing on how the A main events are going to end up starting here. So this is really an extended test session for the drivers who may not necessarily be competing for the championship, and for the drivers that are, all that very valuable points that come to the year-end total.
Yeah, 8 points for the win, I believe, if you score that win in the heat race. You see Justin Brave holding on to the lead right now, putting some gap between him and the 16 of Travis Woodward. Those two have been back and forth throughout some of these past few races. The J21 fast with that Volkswagen Scirocco and that 16 car. Been chasing him all year long.
Woodward got his first feature win early on in the season here at Evergreen Speedway. In fact, season opener for the mini stocks, Woodward was your winner, and it was kind of a crazy main event here. Looking for a much more calm and tame night tonight as the 16 as he looks to roll in on Brave. With just a couple of laps left to go, Brave, Woodward, Fritz just barely in your picture. You can see how good Brave and Woodward are in comparison to the rest of the field because they are just absolutely cruising away from them.
I'd caught up with Woodward before the race, and he talked a lot about how they'd been struggling to try and find in the perfect tuning for that 16 machine. And just looking at the way he's performing this heat race as they take the white flag, looks like he's slowly figuring that car out and maybe back to that winning form we saw opening night.
Looks like it, as he has closed on Brave. Time's going to run out on him, we think, here in this heat race. So, off the final set of corners, Justin Brave going to pick up the win. Travis Woodward in second, and then, I don't know, bust out the sundial here as we wait for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There we go. Michael Fritz, the Cookie Queen, Jaden Kelly, and Jason Engbaum is how they will finish it off. With that, quick transition, let's move. We are going to go Super Stock Figure 8 Racing for the Monroe Grocery Outlet Super Stock Figure 8s. Jeff Talbert's got the pole in the Pilchuck Heating 72. Next to him, Robert Weldon, the 63, sponsored by All Ply Roofing, LLC.
In the next row, that is the V8, sponsored by Sound Stump Removal of Lance O'Grain, and the 19 of Harrison Hardwick.
3rd and final row, the 67 of Mackenzie Dietz, BECU, her sponsor, and Calvin Miller's 49 car Precision Forestry Inc. out of Arlington. So 6 times, and we're going figure 8 style. Get a little figure 8 action in before next week's program, where you'll see the figure 8 nationals here on Home Track Heroes. Should be a good time. Plan to tune in with us then. Green flag out, and the jump goes to Weldon as they head into the South Pole.
Weldon will lead them through that right-hand corner and through the intersection. See Talbert under pressure now from both O'Grain from behind and Hardwick on that outside lane. Hardwick going to make a move, and everyone stacks up behind Talbert. Talbert falls back, now under pressure from Calvin Miller.
Talbert's been having a relatively good season. Weird to see him falling back so quickly here in this heat race as Calvin Miller from the back row all the way up to third. Miller, the versatile young driver, good in just about everything he puts his seat into the third spot, and he's got a real chance to roll in on Hardwick and try to pick up second.
Yeah, we've seen him go figure eight racing in the past in the Stingrays before this season, but really brought it out in that 49 machine for this year. And he's proven to be quite the versatile driver, as you mentioned, running Hornets early on and leading the points for a while, as now he puts pressure on Harrison Hardwick. As they cross over from the left-hander, he'll be on the inside for the right.
Took a shot to the outside around the North Pole. Does he have enough room to sneak in down low on Hardwick? He does. Hardwick pushes wide. That also opens up the door for Mackenzie Dietz to roll in, as Miller made the run all the way up to Weldon. So this one getting awfully good, as we're only halfway home. 4 in the books, 4 remain on the ledger, and both Calvin Miller and Mackenzie Dietz off the back row pressuring Weldon big time, who is having to saw that steering wheel to hold off Calvin Miller.
And as they exit out of the right-hander, both Miller and Dietz will slide on by Robert Weldon and into that first and second spot. This will be an interesting battle between Miller and Dietz, both of them real good drivers. And as they enter into the right-hander, you see Mackenzie Dietz putting a little bit of pressure on the back end of the 49.
Mackenzie will give everybody just a little love tap when appropriate, but one of the cleaner, more sportsman-like drivers in the division is Dietz. As you follow Miller and Mackenzie 1 and 2, Weldon sits in the third spot. We've only got 2 more full circuits around the figure 8 track to go, and a good corner by Miller combined with a little push from Mackenzie opens up a little distance between the two of them. Let's look further back in the field and see what's happening.
O'Grain on the outside of Hardwick as we take the white flag. One more time around the figure 8 here at Evergreen Speedway. Lock up there on the left front for the 49. He'll kick it wide. You see the 67 slide through the infield and back into the intersection into the left-hander. One final shot for Mackenzie Dietz.
Miller is actually really having to wrestle that car around. We'll keep an eye on that as far as it goes later, but he was able to hang on for this heat race win. Dietz and Weldon end up second and third in this one. As let's go forward again. We have got the Tire Pros Street Stocks coming up, and it is Street Stock heat race time. Doug Poyer on the pole in the Ox Chassis 57. Jeff Watson going to be next to him, the SCE Snohomish County Trucking and Excavating, number 51, make up your front row.
Lang Auto Sports 06 of Steve Potasic will be on the inside of row number 2. Alongside him, the Tire Pros number 3 of Jesse Jensen.
Third row, a feature winner here recently at Evergreen Speedway, Jim Fody, the trademark RCS 85. And Mike Shimmick going to be next to him in the Big Block Brewing number 7.
Your final row, that's Brent Roars number 15, sponsored by Harding Motorsports and Chevy Vincent Siskiyou Power Equipment number 43 as we get the green flag and Poyer leads him to turn number 1.
Why do I feel like we're going to get some fireworks coming here in this street stock? There are some combustible elements in this heat race, huh?
Well, Poyer and Jensen have a bit of a past, the two of them. We've seen them rough each other up in years past and earlier on in this season. Added to the mix, Jeff Watson's fast number 51 in the 06 of Steve Potasic, and you've got yourself an exciting heat race.
It's a pretty dynamic first couple of rows. You've got Poyer in the early lead. Potasic sits in second as he works underneath the 51 of Watson, looking to shuffle him backwards. Jensen in the beautiful Tire Pros number 3 hanging out in position 4, and just chilling for the time being. You never know what's going to happen. He's got a nice look to the inside going into 1, almost 3 wide for the blink of an eye. It's still Poyer, Potasic. Now Jensen with a move to the inside of Watson for the spot.
Jensen just has so much speed wherever he chooses to put that car, and you see him take the dive and then move onto the inside, get by Watson. Now he'll put pressure on Steve Potasic, 06. But Potasic, he's got experience. He knows how to defend, and he'll not make it easy for the 3 of Jensen as he looks low.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Former track champion in this division is Potasic in the 06, correct?
That is correct.
There goes Jensen working his way to the inside. He's going to make the move on Potasic. He will clear him. And now the race is on between Poyer's 57 and Jensen's 3 out in front of this field. Potasic 3 in the neon-colored car down the back straightaway. We flash to the front straightaway. Look, beautiful fluorescent orange on the right side of the car. It's a cool kind of little discrepancy that they got going on there.
You see, jumping forward, Poyer and Jensen, we talked about fireworks perhaps in this heat. You see Jensen get right to the back of Poyer, even make a little bit of contact. The two of them continue to battle into turn number 3. It'll be 2 to go this time. See Jensen maybe look low, not going to make a move as they come across the line. 2 laps to go for the Tire Pro Street Stocks.
Jensen rolls to the middle of turns 1 and 2. He's going to arc the car off high down the back straightaway, up to the rear quarter panel, but not quite to the door as they get into turn number 3. Now he is to the door, not quite side by side. 1 to go. They're side by side for the lead coming down to the final lap.
Looks like Jensen might just have the edge as he rolls out of turn number 2. 57 going to push him high, and into the dirt goes Jesse Jensen. Saves it on the access road. Now he's going to dive to the low side, try and make something happen. Out of turn number 4, it's a drag race to the line, and that's Jesse Jensen by an inch maybe over Doug Poyer's 57.
Well, fascinating turn of events that's not going to be forgotten come main event time. So, holy cow. Yeah, fireworks early on in that one. We'll keep our eyes peeled for that as we've got even more racing to come for you here on Home Track Heroes. Back to the track we go, and just like that, the BECU mini stocks are ready for their main event. And let's get you your starting lineup as you see him out there scuffing the tires. Pole sitter for this one is Jason Engbaum. The 27 car is sponsored by Lewis and Maine Restaurant and Brewery of Monroe. Next to him, Randy Ditmars. The 61 is sponsored by ATR. That's Andrews Truck Repair.
Row number 2 starts with the number 2, sponsored by Crooks and Kings Barber Company. That's Michael Fritz. And the Raritan Engines 12 of Gavin Ballou.
Row number 3, Tom's Automotive sponsors the Cookie Queen, Jaden Kelly in the 24 car. Next to her, it's Brooklyn Bender, the PRCBD number 18.
Clean Crawl sponsors the J21 of Justin Brave, and alongside him, your points leader, the PRCBD.com 221 of Lyndon Smith.
Fifth and final row, Brava Pizza in Snohomish sponsors the 16 of Travis Woodward, and the 72 of Ronnie Absher, sponsored by U.S. Seafood. 10 cars, 30 times around on the 3/8. Our first main event of the evening here on Home Track Heroes.
You got a few drivers to watch. I mean, everyone here is obviously going to be talented, but that 221, the J21, and the 16 are going to be some of your favorites.
And you love the big invert. Most of the fastest cars towards the back of the field going to have to do a lot of work to get their way up and forward. You've got Engbaum, your pole sitter in the 27, in-car camera. Thank you, Brandy Hood Promotions. Jaden Kelly inside row 3. And Woodward, who was scheduled to go off 9, looks like he's actually going off either in the 10th or the 8th spot. I can't tell from the grid where he's sitting on the lineup. Either way, long road to hoe for Travis. Let's watch all of them as we go green on the same main event.
See 3 wide almost immediately from Ballou, who's going to dive inside of Ditmars and outside of the 24 of Kelly. Got that speed shot in the top right. There you go, Ballou going to make a move over Kelly, and now looking to the outside of the 2 of Michael Fritz. Making a lot of bold moves early on. Don't count out that 221 car. You see him making a move around Travis Woodward.
That is a lot of speed out of Lyndon Smith like he has shown all year long. It's hard to pick where you want to watch when we go quad box like this, but out in front, Jason Engbaum doing what he needs to do early on in this contest. He's completed the second lap, and he is your early leader. Ballou second in the 12. Third is Fritz in the 2 car, and it's Brave, the early man on the move. The J21 sneaking up and around Fritz. He's got third and quickly coming after second.
Yeah, see him kick out those back wheels like we talked about earlier on. Slides into third. We'll look around. It looks like this time on the inside of the 12 of Ballou. And almost fully clear before they even get through 1, outside of 2, and he's got that second place spot over the 12 of Gavin Ballou.
Yeah, Justin Brave's on quite the heater. Again, we talked about his confidence high after the heat race, high after that first main event win, and now working down the front straightaway. He's got a lot of speed, and he's going to go in, clear Engbaum, and he will be the guy who sets the pace on this main event. Justin Brave out and into the lead, and he is looking to run away and rabbit away from the field.
J21 car is fast. We'll see if he can put a gap. You know the 16 and 221 are going to work their way through the field almost certainly. Got to see, can the J21 put enough distance for those two to not be able to reel him in?
Race for second is between the 27 of Engbaum and the 12 of Ballou. A car length separates the 2 of them. Jason driving the 27 this year. Car we saw his wife Tiffany driving the year before. Go side by side with Ballou and Engbaum for the second spot. And Ballou looks like he's got a nice line going into turn 1.
Yeah, and at that time, you see behind them, Woodward got by Michael Fritz. Now, 221 of Lyndon Smith on the edge of your screen going to try and do the same as Woodward just shoots on the inside of Engbaum. Gets by and into the third place spot as Lyndon Smith's 221. More pressure on the 2 of Michael Fritz.
You talked about the speed that Woodward's been finding in his program, and that's really evident right now as we are about to have a replay of the heat race with Brave out in front and Woodward in charge of chasing him down. Woodward to the inside, easy on Ballou. And into second he goes. You've got a motivated Travis Woodward in the 16 car. Now the question is, can he run down and pass Justin Brave, who 8 laps into this isn't even in the picture?
Yeah, he is just gone, it feels like. As you see the 221 closer in, here's a shot of how it feels. Cross the line now. Count him close to 6 seconds between him and the 16 of Travis Woodward.
If you prefer the visual, he was crossing the center of the racetrack as Woodward was coming out of 4. So he's got a half a straightaway on him. As of lap number 8 in the books, or making 9 in the books, 21 to go. We'll see if Woodward can run him down and narrow that gap. Meanwhile, still working in your top 3. Lyndon Smith has picked his way forward on the field, and he's going to make a passing attempt here on Gavin Ballou.
Now, we mentioned motivation for Justin Brave running momentum and Woodward to try and rebuild his success. The 221 of Lyndon Smith has just been hot all season long. Now he's going to try and just increase on that capitalization as around goes the 12 of Gavin Ballou.
Ballou going to spin out to a stop on the inside of turn number 2. Back with the conclusion of the BECU Mini Stock main event next. Well, you are smack dab in the middle of a mini stock A main event, the BECU Mini Stocks here on Home Track Heroes on CW11. He's Derek Todoroff. I'm Caleb Hart. Back to the action we go on the track where we left you last. We had just gone to caution. They are doubled up 2x2, Justin Brave, and now Travis Woodward doesn't have to run him down at all. That was an excellent yellow for Travis and a terrible one for Justin as we go back to green.
And you see Brave will lead them out of turn number 4, but Justin will lead him on the inside. Woodward has the advantage on the high side, and they stay even as they go through 1 and 2. Brave going to try and clear him, not going to be able to. And Woodward pokes ahead. We'll see if he can capitalize. Whoa!
Look out, car around turn number 3, and let's get a look and see exactly what happened. As you got the 2 of Fritz, who's hanging out with the tires up there in the 3rd corner. I think I saw Engbaum's 27 around as well. From the tire cam, all right, well, tire cam kind of caught it. Let's take a look from Jaden's car, and oofda, right into the rubber. Here's Engbaum's look at it. Jason gonna drive on through. He caught a little piece of somebody else on the way by.
Looking in the mirror, it looked like maybe Gavin Ballou and him made some contact there.
Well, all right, that little action, it's all right.
Certainly.
We'll get back to it. That'll bunch him up again. Woodward had that run going into turn number 3. All going to be for naught. We didn't finish off the lap, so let's stack them, re-rack them, and try again.
Well, we'll get his in-car footage this time as we go through 3, slowly creeping, and here comes Brave to lead him to the green. Back in the air, and we're racing once again for the mini stocks, and Woodward might have got a better jump that time.
Yeah, let's take a look and see how they exit turn number 2.
It's 3 wide behind him.
Yes, indeed. Action all over the place. Brave back straight away. Look to the back. They were 3 wide. Everybody drives through. We're going to have a 3-car siesta for the top spot between Brave, Woodward, and Lyndon Smith all in there as they work their way into turn number 1. This segment brought to you by PRCBD. Swing by PRCBD in Arlington. For all your CBD questions or needs for people, pets, and more, go to prcbd.com and use the promo code RACE.
Well, speaking of PRCBD, watch that 221 bearing their logo on the hood, trying to chase down the 16 and J21. I often say patience is the name of the game, and that might be what he's playing because those 2 are going at it up front. He's keeping a safe distance.
The next time by, we will be 14 in, 16 to go, just a hair before halfway, with Brave, Woodward, and Smith, your 3 cars competing for the top spot, all of them occupying the podium right now, and a car length-ish separating all 3 of them. Brave works the low side of the speedway all the way around, and we've seen Woodward have a little bit of success in the middle groove, at least on restarts, as, we've got Engbaum getting a little touch and doing a little agricultural racing as he manicures the grass for us in turn 4.
It looked like him and Brooklyn Bender might have gotten together just that tad. We'll see if we can stay green. As the leaders come around, looks like we will. Brave still your race leader with Woodward in hot pursuit. He'll make a move to the inside now. We've seen that's Brave's territory. Now that he's out of his groove, can he hold on to the lead? Still poking ahead as they enter into 3.
It's a good move by Woodward. Forcing Brave up racetrack. Is Justin comfortable enough in the middle to run there and hold Travis off? He does that lap, but Woodward, another look down low in 1 and 2, an even better run through the corner. Far enough ahead that I think we can say we've got a lead change.
I think we can. Brave up on the high side trying to make it work, but it's just not the best line on the track. He'll slide back down, maybe try and cross over. No opportunity there as here comes Lyndon Smith now to capitalize.
Smith seeing opportunity. He goes jumping after position number 2 in the middle of the racetrack in the 221. Almost to the back bumper cover of Brave, getting into the bottom of 3. Contact for just a second. Both of them keep the wheel side down. They'll continue on. That allows Woodward to get away a little bit, but the battle for second is on.
Yeah, you see that battle continue as they exit out of 221, using all the real estate, looking around low, high. He doesn't care. He's going to try and make something work against the J21 of Justin Brave. So Woodward's still your race leader. Loving seeing that battling behind him.
Down to 10 laps to go for Travis. Slower traffic looms directly ahead of him as the race for second between Brave and Smith. And Brave continuing to try to keep that bottom groove protected by Lyndon. Lyndon gonna sneak to the middle at corner entry, brings it back down to the bottom coming off. Everybody getting around the slower traffic. As you can see, Smith right on the rear of Brave, trying to get him rattled, trying to get him nervous, but time running out for Smith to make a move.
Lap traffic playing a role in this. You see taking away that top line through 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 last time. Now they've got a bit more open track ahead of them for Smith to try and go high, low. But again, Woodward is loving all this as we jump back. Battle for 4th between Gavin Ballou in the 12 and Jaden Kelly in the 24.
Jaden had an awfully nice run here, hanging on to 4th position for the moment, although Ballou, who was involved in that spin out right before our commercial break, doing a good job rallying back up through the field. Takes a look to the inside of Jaden going into turn 3, and Jaden leaves the bottom open for him getting into the corner. We'll see how that turns out in just a second. Right now, back to looking at 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, you see that J21 kicking it a little sideways like normal through 3. They're spacing each other out now a little bit. Woodward, then Brave, then Smith. 3 dominant cars of the season, or your 3 dominant cars of the race so far.
With 6 laps to go, Woodward expanding his advantage over 2nd and 3rd. You can see Travis and that tinkering that he did really hit it here for this A main event, provided the car doesn't fade bad on him in the final 5 laps. This is for 4th between the yellow, pink, and white 24, the red, white with black number 12. And now another look at 2nd and 3rd.
Still chasing him down. You got to wonder, is there enough time for Brave and Smith to reel in Woodward? That battle might have taken a bit out of those tires and those cars. You don't have a ton to work with when you're chasing down a car as dominant as the 16 has been.
Yeah, Woodward's been the class of the field here in this A main event. Down to 4 laps to go. Is going to have one more piece of slower traffic to deal with before she's all over. That is Brooklyn Bender coming down the front straightaway with 3 laps left. And so long as Travis can make this pass clean and easy, you think the path's going to be pretty clear for him going to victory lane.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure it gets any easier than that. He just slid right through 1 and 2 and past the 18. Puts it in an obstacle in the way of the J21 and 221, who both make it work still. It's 2 to go. Your race leader is Travis Woodward.
Woodward's going to have to make a pretty big boo-boo at this point in time for Brave to end up not only running him down, but getting by him. So we're down to just 2 more times around our 3/8 mile here for the BECU mini stocks. Travis Woodward looking for main event win number 2 here on the season. Justin Brave hoping something happens where Travis gets in trouble and he'll be able to take his 2nd win in a row. White flag is out. The race for 4th right ahead of him. Ballou finally to the inside of Kelly moving forward. But let's not bury the lead. Your winner coming through turns 3 and turns 4. Congratulations. Number 2 on the year for Travis Woodward.
Number 16 car, he had it all. He managed to get past the J21 and the 221, and that's all it really took. Class of the field, that 16. Justin Brave finishes 2nd. Lyndon Smith in 3rd. Gavin Ballou will come across the line in 4th.
Jaden Kelly ends up with a best 5th as we'll go down to the podium and talk to your winners.
Lyndon, that car has been fast all year long. This race, just a little bit short of that battle there. Walk us through those laps there between the 3 of you.
I mean, it's hot in there. I'm getting really tired. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of worn out right now. We just missed coming out on track. I should have started 8th. I started dead last, so that was kind of on us. But it's been a good season.
Have anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank my spotter, my mom, grandma, grandpa, the Gold Star, PRCBD, Bosworth Trucking and Grading, Central Welding, Wayne, JBR, Dave Riddell, everybody who's helped me.
Driver of the 221, 3rd place tonight, that's Lyndon Smith. You and the 16 had that great battle after the caution. I know it's going to suck when you saw that caution lights come on. What more did you need to stick in that first place spot?
I don't know. I mean, racing with Travis is always a blast. We've been racing for a long time. Always clean, always great. It's a lot of fun. That yellow killed me. I feel like I had a good gap and I could have held it off if we stayed green. But on the restart, he just got so much pull out of the corners. And I was getting a little tight coming out of turn 4, and I just couldn't stay low enough to hold him off. But I had a little second win. I was catching up a little, but not enough time. And but it was a great race, a lot of fun. Couldn't do it without my sponsors: J2 Racing, Clean Crawls, Central Welding, Pace Engineering, Eden Gate Farm, Craig Rhodes Race Shop, Ben for all the amazing motor work he does, and of course my mom and dad for all the love and support they give me.
Driver of the J21, second place tonight, that's Justin Brave. All right, Travis, I know that first win earlier on this season was emotional. Does this one feel any less sweet?
This one feels better. We had a day that we blew up the motor, blew up the battery, blew up the starter. We didn't qualify. We started dead last in the heat, dead last in the main. This crew's amazing.
You put that car together and came home with this amazing win. Who helped you do that tonight?
My son on the radios, it was amazing with him. My mom and dad, my wife, my daughter, Braden, Avery, Grandpa Jim, Terry, Kevin. Another big thanks, Chuck Richards, my buddy that got me started in this, is down here sitting and I want it.
Congratulations, Travis. Finishing first tonight, your race winner, Travis Woodward.
Well, after an exciting BECU mini stock main event, let's transition. We're going figure 8 racing. Derek, it is time for our Monroe Grocery Outlet Super Stock Figure 8A main event. 30 times around the most dangerous intersection in Washington, in the world, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a bunch of fun. Row 1, Sheridan Vincent, the 43, sponsored by Siskin Power Equipment, and Lance O'Grain, the V8, sponsored by Sound Stump Removal.
Row 2, that's going to be the 01 of Doug Delfell, sponsored by Mazda of Everett. And 49 Calvin Miller, sponsored by Precision Forestry Incorporated out of Arlington, Washington.
The third row is the Cowboy. John Carlson, Mary's Towing sponsors the 567 Mackenzie Dietz, sponsored by BECU.
No sponsor for the 19 of Harrison Hardwick, and Be Happy Carpet Cleaning takes the top spot on the 11 of Blaine Manning.
72 of Jeff Talbert, sponsored by Pilcheck Heating, and the JE55, that spells Jess, it's Jess Wilkinson.
And then the 63, sponsored by All Ply Roofing LLC, is Robert Weldon. And rounding out your field, the number 69 of RJ Mackey, sponsored by the Monroe Co-op.
You're going to get a lot of different looks here. Dietz, Weldon, and Wilkinson with the in-car. The race for the top spot will be in the upper right-hand quarter, with Vincent and O'Grain leading them down. We're underway for 30 here in the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8s.
And Vincent's the car that'll jump out to the lead initially, but O'Grain going to make a run on the inside through the right-hand corner, back through the intersection. They will stay side by side for the time being. O'Grain not able to clear Vincent through turns number 3 and 4. And Vincent takes the sole control of the lead.
I thought you were about to say he takes the soul. I was getting a little over dramatic there. That's all good. Vincent, he has got your top spot as he works his way through the South Pole. O'Grain trying to settle into second. Meanwhile, side by side all over this pack still. Just a couple of laps into this as you're watching Carlson try to sneak past Dietz and get in position to follow Miller. Miller leaning on Weldon. He's got the third position. Now he is coming after O'Grain, and he has got a whole lot of Cowboy right up on his bumper coming through that turn.
Yeah, Delfell's not going to enjoy that. Cowboy on the outside, Dietz looking around behind him. Meanwhile, it's still Sheridan Vincent, as you mentioned, in the lead. Lance O'Grain's V8 now under pressure from the 49 Calvin Miller, who just kind of shot up onto the inside. Going to try and make it stick in the 49.
You know, Miller looks like he has got a lot of speed in that car, but the handle may not be everything that he wants to. When he's got it going straight, that car launches. It's got a lot of get up and go. The problem is getting through the corners. It almost looks like he's having to wrestle the car around, and you can see that with how wide he's coming into turn number, I'd say the South Pole, or the right-hand turn if you prefer.
I like to call it the right-hand turn personally. See Cowboy and Dietz still putting pressure on Delfell. Blaine Manning, Harrison Hardwick in hot pursuit. So we've got 5 down, 25 to go. RJ Mackey sitting in the intersection for the time being. We'll get a shot out the back as here come the leaders.
Not a great place to be slowed coming to the intersection. Mackey going to go down a lap early on in this contest. We complete lap number 6. Vincent continuing to lead over O'Grain and Miller. That's been the running order for a few laps, and O'Grain gets a whole lot of Vincent's back bumper. They're going to come in through the corner. Miller's going to move to second. Grizz, Doug Delfell up and into third as Vincent hanging out there for a second.
Delfell's got real loose there through the left-hander, maybe up into the 49. We'll see how he handles it. I believe the black flag shown to the V8, and that will put the 49 of Calvin Miller into the lead. O'Grain and Vincent sharing the presence in the right-hand infield. As now Carlson, the Cowboy, working the high side on the 0-1 of Doug Delfell.
Yeah, John Carlson never knew a gift horse that he didn't take full advantage of, right? As he is all the way up and into second and working his way towards Calvin Miller. There's Dietz, who has gotten underneath Grizz. She'll take over third. So Miller, Carlson, Grizz right back to the inside, though. Doug Delfell, a ferocious competitor. He will definitely put the pedal down when need to, as he comes up and retakes the third spot away from McKenzie, who's right back after him in the right-hander.
Well, meanwhile, speaking of right back after, oh, never mind, we'll drop back to the third place battle. Delfell on the inside. There you go, Dietz has the advantage but can't hold on to it. They'll stay side by side as they come across the line. Cowboy putting pressure on Miller up front, and Dietz finally getting the job done through the right-hand corner.
Blaine Manning trying to follow her through as your third position changes. Now fourth and fifth being contested. They'll work your way through the intersection. Delfell in the yellow and blue 0-1 trying to hug the bottom of the corners. Manning in the white and blue 11 car working his way through, as it is Miller and Carlson back up front in the battle for the top spot.
And we've got a caution on the tracks. The number 19 of Harrison Hardwick up in a Ute tire entering the left-hand corner. Take a look and see how that happened as he backs up. Looks like maybe some contact with him in the V8 of Lance O'Grain.
So look from the Wilkinson car, and Wilkinson a good job to avoid it, as we'll come back here to the booth for a couple of seconds. A lot of action, a lot of physicality, something that we are kind of used to here in the Superstock Figure 8 division.
Yeah, those guys have gone back and forth all season long, kind of putting pressure on one another, giving us some great shows.
Guys and girls, we should say, as back up front, Calvin Miller going to bring us back to green flag action. This segment brought to you by Monroe Grocery Outlet, your locally owned neighborhood grocery store. They offer name brand products, fresh produce, organics, wine, and more at 40 to 70% less than traditional grocery stores. Shop them first and save. Monroe Grocery Outlet, the proud sponsor of our Superstock Figure 8 class. And just like that, back to caution.
Yeah, it looked like a couple of cars made contact with one another. Here's a view from Robert Weldon. See the V8 make contact with the JE55. They both go around. You saw the 19 also having problems. So here's the view from the JE55. Contact and around goes Jessica Wilkinson. Then you can see, looks like someone hits the V8.
Huh. Well,
not quite sure who that was.
It was interesting watching from Wilkinson's perspective the side slam that happened between the two cars. And then around everybody goes. Mass chaos. I love it. It's great.
Oh, chaos is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
So let's restack them, re-rack them, try it once again. Mackenzie Dietz now out of the picture. I didn't see where the red 67 car ended up in this, and she is now off frame. And it is Miller, Carlson, and Manning, your top three.
Yeah, and you see immediately Miller kicked that back end out in the 49. You were talking earlier, hard to handle. I think that's just an extension of it, not being able to have full control over that car like he wants. That's not something you're smiling on. We've got the Cowboy right on your tail.
Miller, your leader, Carlson, the seasoned veteran, working to make his way in and past as those two continue to do battle for the top spot here in this main event. Manning sitting a calm, cool, and collected third at the moment, so we're not even halfway home yet.
Yeah, it's 18 to go here. Make that 17 as they come across the line. Miller in the lead. Carlson putting pressure. Blaine Manning is waiting for an opportunity, and here we go, side by side into the left-hand corner. Carlson will have the outside for this one. They'll cross over, have it on the right as they go through the intersection, and John Carlson, the Cowboy, has the nose advantage and will capitalize and take over that first place spot.
Boy, that car looks perfect here on the setup tonight, does the 5 Carlson, as he just saw a little bit of a gap and had the right amount of drive to pull even with Miller through the left-hander. Through the right-hander, he went to the top spot right before the halfway mark of this main event. Carlson, Miller, Manning now 1 through 3 as his field is stringing out a little bit, and Carlson's going to have to come up on Wilkinson to try to lap her.
Yeah, as you said, everyone a bit single file, looking like a snake right now, hungry to eat up the next car in the way, and that'll be the J55 of Jessica Wilkinson. Sliding on by, go your top two. See if Blaine Manning can get by as well and threaten the 49 for position. And he will hold on to that car as the J55 running in the first car lap down.
There you go. Watching the 49 and watching how Miller is coming into the corner, and it's interesting. The car almost has like a little bunny hop as he gets ready to come in and make the right-hand turn, where you watch the suspension unload at a certain point in time. I'm going to keep another eye on it here, see if we get a viewpoint of it coming into the corner. Watch right about here, and you can see it. The car just hops a little bit as he goes to set to make the right-hand corner, and I'm not sure if that's something with a spring or maybe something with the way that everything's interacting as he gets off the throttle to make his way into that corner. But it's definitely something that they're going to go back. They'll probably watch this video. Calvin will give them some good feedback on the car, and they'll have a chance to address and make better here in the coming weeks.
Well, to solve another mystery, looking to the top of your screen right about now, that is the 19 of Harrison Hardwick stopped on the tarmac out there. I believe he's been there since that last caution, so I would theorize he's probably the machine that ran into the V8 of Lance O'Grain, unfortunately ending his night. As you also see the 69 of RJ Mackey as around goes the 11 of Blaine Manning. That'll let Jeff Talbert swing into the third place spot as Manning gets back underway.
We had talked about Talbert, who had kind of faded a little bit early on. Now, right place, right time, back up into a podium finish is guy who's just having an easy stroll around this racetrack now is Cowboy Carlson, a long ways back is Miller, and still short enough of that line that intersection not a problem for him, is now O'Grain's V8's going to come to a stop. It's a war of attrition out there.
Looked like he got a little bit of help from the 43 of Sheridan Vincent, perhaps returning the favor after that earlier incident we saw.
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
And often served on a figure eight track.
That's right. We're down to 7 laps to go. Carlson, you can see, always just keeping the rubber side down. The car never looks like it's out of control. Hugging the bottom well enough. Back end never stepping out on him. Carlson just cool as the other side of the pillow right now and leading these one.
He's got confidence as you see Weldon and the J55 Jessica Wilkinson nose to tail as your race leader still the Cowboy. Jeff Talbert holding on to third. Next car in line, I believe, is the 63 of Robert Weldon.
Be a good finish for Weldon if he can hang on to that spot. Good confidence builder for him is Wilkinson, the 55 driver we've seen lead laps here in the Superstock Figure 8 division over the years on Home Track Heroes. Having a good run herself and sitting up there with a potential top 5, top 6 finish for Jess.
Yeah, and I believe Jessica Wilkinson recovering well from that incident we saw. I believe she went a lap down, but regardless, she's still running well, running up there with the leaders. As the Cowboy John Carlson, 4 more trips around this figure 8.
You know, Carlson, primarily known, at least over the last couple of seasons, as an outlaw figure 8 driver, ended up getting the ride here in the 5 car here in 2023. Championship winning car from last year in the Superstock Figure 8 division with Quentin Morrison driving it. Now Cowboy gets the call this year and, well, making the car owner's choice look like an awfully good one.
I mean, it's a Superstock Figure 8 championship car with an Outlaw Figure 8 championship driver. Battle for third heats up. Weldon on the tail of the 72 of Jeff Talbert. See if he can make some magic happen and steal away that podium. The Cowboys got 2 more trips around.
Drivers all getting lined up, getting their programs in order for next week's Figure 8 Nationals that you'll see right here on Home Track Heroes. 1 to go coming around. White flag is out, and John Carlson has very little to worry about.
No, he's got 1 more trip around as he slides on through the right-hander. Calvin Miller not even in the same shot. There he goes through the intersection for the final time. And right on, sliding through the left-hander. Checkered flag in the air, and the Cowboy, John Carlson, will climb the fence once again.
Second place goes to Miller. Third place contested, but Talbert gets it as Weldon spins her out, trying to bring her around to the checkered flag. All right, so Cowboy going to come out of the car. He's going to do the fence climb, and while he's doing that, we have already dismissed Derek Todoroff down for our winners' interviews.
I feel like I've said it to you a few times, but it feels like patience was the name of the game for this one. You worked hard and came home with that third place finish. Walk us through watching all that chaos unfold in front of you.
It's hard to say. I mean, it's just they go everywhere, and you hope you choose the right path and don't collect anybody in the same process. So it's just a matter of just watching and praying.
You have a good number 72 car. I seem to see you up here very often. So who would you like to thank for that machine?
I got to thank my wife, my mom, my brother, Jim and Jessica, all the Wilkinsons, pretty much everybody that throws a hand in there. Harrison, my kids. That's pretty much all that helped me with the car anyways, myself.
Driver the number 72, third place tonight. That's Jeff Talbert. All righty, Calvin. I've seen you drive a lot of cars around this course. You traded it really for the number 49 Street Superstock Figure 8 this year. You come home with a second place tonight after battling with Cowboy. What is that like, battling someone with that much experience?
I mean, I knew he was going to pass me eventually. He didn't have to hit me or anything. He just drove to the outside, and it was a clean, good race. That was the longest race of my life. I was just waiting for it to get over, and I look at the board, and it felt like time was moving in slow motion.
Number 49 car has been fast, and you've put it together for a second tonight. Who helped you do that?
Huge thanks to Tommy Gabb, Dawson Cox, my dad, and my sister for coming out, my grandma and grandpa, everybody that helped me get the car on the track after the heat race, Northwest Poly Services, Precision Forestry, Brandy Hood, and Cox Wheels.
Driver the number 49, second place tonight, that's Calvin Miller. All right, Cowboy, tonight is a night about history. So there's a lot I could ask you about what happened on the track, but I think it's better to ask, where did the fence climb originate from?
Man, it all started back in Tony Stewart when he won Indianapolis 500. He climbed the fence, and I was trying to think of something to do back then. Everybody's doing burnouts, and I'm like, man, there's got to be something different. I was watching that race, and he climbed the fence, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do. So it's because of Tony Stewart I climbed the fence.
Feel like I also have to ask, do you have an estimated number of times you have climbed that fence?
No, probably more than both hands.
Who would you like to thank for putting that amazing number 5 car together?
Well, you know, Dave Brandenburg, he built it. Quentin's been driving it a long time. They gave me the opportunity when Quentin was out with issues. They put my name up to Mary to let me drive it, and I've been driving it for her. Mary here with Mary's Towing, paying the bills, and I get to have fun and drive the hot rod.
He is the driver of the number 5, a legend at Evergreen Speedway and in figure 8 racing. He's the Cowboy, John Carlson, and he's tonight's first place finisher.
Welcome back here to Home Track Heroes on the CW11. I am Caleb Hart. He is Derek Todoroff. Derek, it is time. This division has been nothing but spectacular, let's say, over here on our Home Track Heroes program. Let's get you your lineup for the Tire Pros Street Stocks A main event.
Yeah, spectacular is a nice way to put it. They're led today by the AFC Forestry 22 of Kenny Erickson. Alongside him, the Big Block Brewing 7 of Mike Shimmick.
It's Blaine Fagerly in the 03. Stingray Auto Repair of Redmond sponsors him. Jim Fody, the 85, next to him in the trademark RCS car.
Row 3, the 69 of Austin Camp has Ad Taxi on the hood, and Ox Chassis is sponsoring the number 57 of Doug Poyer.
The fourth row, the direct carpet cleaning and house cleaning number 44 of Mike Marthaler, and Jeff Watson's 51, sponsored by SCE, Snohomish County Trucking and Excavating.
Row number 5 has your points leader coming into this race, the 28 of Gene Watson, sponsored by SCE, Snohomish County Trucking and Excavating, and the 06 Lang Auto Sports Machine of Steve Potasic.
Row behind them, it's Potent, the 41, your defending track champion Mark Hubbard in the Interstate Batteries car. Next to him, it's the 3 of Jesse Jensen, sponsored by Tire Pros.
Brent Rohr drives the Harding Motorsports number 15, and Billy Decker drives the 17.
And Chevy Vincent, tail end Charlie on the field, the Siskin Power Equipment, number 43. 15 cars, 30 laps, and we are green on this one.
Look at Kenny Erickson immediately jumped to the lead, and Fody immediately jumped to the inside. Will clear into second. real impressive there after starting on the outside of row 2, drops to the inside and drops to second.
Jim Fody is confidence high once again, coming off his most recent feature win. He's right on the back of Erickson, making life difficult for him as they're almost 3 wide coming through 1 and 2. Doug Poyer kind of gets struck up on the way high side there. And to the inside, the trains are coming and starting to shuffle some of those outside guys backwards.
Well, choo-choo, here comes the number 3 of Jesse Jensen. He's leading that train, now falling in behind the 69 of Austin Camp. He's got Poyer on the back end. Got to wonder if there's any hard feelings after that heat race.
Well, we're about to find out as Poyer's now tucked in behind him. Eyeballs on the 3 and the 57. But don't miss your lead. Jim Fody working all over the back of Erickson and trying to take the top spot away from him.
Yeah, you see Fody right there on the inside. He is making that low lane work as you see Jensen, meanwhile, back of your shot. He's making the high side work against Austin Camp and now moving on the 0-3.
Wow, Jesse Jensen, good low, good high. Race lead changes. Fody now has it. Erickson strung up in the middle. He's going to go backwards. Meanwhile, here comes the 3 car of Jensen up and around Camp, and he's making the run on Fagerly. Can he take third away from him in this series of corners?
No, I think he can. He's got a fast machine up on that high side. To see 69 get loose. He'll hold on to it, but Fagerly will not hold on to that third place spot. Into third goes the 3 of Jesse Jensen, and Poyer going to try and follow him up the high side.
Yeah, it's going to take a page right out of the Jensen playbook and go to the top shelf, see if he can find some driving room up and around there. Up front, Fody leads Erickson, and then it's the Will Cruzmore number 3. That's the team name for the car Jesse Jensen drives. Nosing ahead of Erickson going into the third corner. And boy, this darn near feels inevitable at this point in time, showing the speed that Jensen is and his ability to work both grooves.
He's just marching forward, and that 85 might have something for him. But, I mean, watch how fast the 3 closes on him lap after lap. As we drop back Poyer and Camp fighting side by side.
Poyer has not been able to steamroll up and around Camp quite as fast. And to Austin Camp's credit, Camp gets faster every week in the 69 car, doing a good job of holding them off and making it difficult. Ooh, contact between them. Somebody went way down to the bottom. That was Shimmick trying to find racing room, but nothing down there to make the pass.
Well, we jump to side by side. Jesse Jensen's Cam on the left and him passing the 85 of Fody on the right. Running that high side, he makes the move at the line. Through 1, you see Fody get loose, and that's all Jensen needs. And he's out of here.
Aloha also means goodbye, and I think that's what you're saying to Jesse Jensen at the moment. Jensen to the lead, Fody 2, Erickson 3, as that's Potasic now playing with a high groove. Him and Marthaler as things get physical, and we're going to have a whole lot of body part sales at Joe's this week as street stocks everywhere in the front straightaway caution out.
Look at that right side of Mark Hubbard. Is Watson caught up in it? Marthaler caught up in it. The other Watson caught up in it, and here's the replay from Marthaler.
Wow. Look at the amount of sun that's coming through right there. That's darn near impossible. I mean, you're almost closing your eyes and praying you can get through the corner.
Here's Jeff Watson's view as you see them get together and go around, and then he just runs over the side.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's either stop or, drive through. It's one or the other. Gene Watson, brother Gene, look out. Right front tire is going to have a neat little smiley. One more look from the up top cam, and yeah, considering visibility and where all the cars were on that one, it almost felt inevitable.
Yeah.
Well, all right, street stocks go everywhere. We had just seen Jesse Jensen take the lead. Let's double them up and get back to action. Easy for me to say. Here in our Tire Pros A main event, we'll let you guys know that the Tire Pros Street Stocks, this segment sponsored by Tire Pros, the official tire dealer of Evergreen Speedway. Tire Pros, your one-stop tire retailer where honesty is the best policy and they have a hassle-free guarantee. Tire Pros has all the national brands and offers a nationwide warranty on your tires. Go to TirePros.com.
And you see Chevy Vincent, he's our ride along right now. In front of him, 3 wide battle for a split second. Kenny Erickson going at it with Jim Fody, and Poyer all over the back end of both of them. As everyone's stacking up, you see back on track by some means the 41. And as he passes by, we might get to see how flattened that car is as we're 3 wide for third.
Yeah, Hubbard has torn the, looks like, right side fender off the car. And the left side fender ain't looking so great either. But he is working his way back forward. Your defending track champion, trying to hold on to that points title and defend it if at all possible. You got to finish every race if you're going to do so.
Yeah, and you see him right beside the 03. It's up front. Poyer looking around on the back end of the 22 of Kenny Erickson. Going to make that move low side into turn number 3. Once he's by, trying to catch the 3 of Jesse Jensen.
Poyer leans on him, makes the pass, but yellow flag is out as we've got a car around. It is the 28 of Gene Watson, we understand, is what we're hearing over the officials' radio. So Watson stalled up at the back straightaway in that Davey Allison looking paint scheme, and apparently we've got an eyeball as to what happened.
Oop, a little bit of contact from Mike Marthaler. Both those drivers also involved in the earlier incident. Here's Gene Watson's view of everything. He just gets a little bit of a shot. Ooh, looks like he saves it through 2 and then just loses it on the exit. Snaps around he goes, and you see some water spraying out of a hose there.
Oof, no good. So caution back out, double him up once again. It has been physical out there, but we anticipated that. That's what the street stocks have looked like all year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been back and forth. We've seen a variety of strong runs from every single driver. Honestly, on your top 3 rows here.
Well, we're only 12 laps into this. We still got 18 to go. Jesse Jensen out front, setting the pace. Kenny Erickson, the 22, is going to start next to him. Row behind him, it's Doug Poyer and Jim Fody as we're back to green.
Poyer going to work that inside. He's going to love that inside start. He will follow Jesse Jensen right on by Kenny Erickson. The 22 will fall back into 3rd. Now pressure from the 06 of Steve Potasic, who managed to get by the 85 of Jim Fody.
Potasic using the restart to his advantage. Well into the top 5. He's 4th and working on Erickson now for 3rd with a good run on him. Coming out of turn number 2. Can he get to the inside of him on the back straightaway? Not clear, but Erickson will give him a little space. And here comes Potasic, moving his way up and forward. One more good set of corners, and it feels like he might have 3rd.
Yeah, the orange and yellow car, neon on both sides, will slide on by the 22. Jim Fody going to try and press his luck and gain his own spot following that 06 around, as Mark Hubbard's beaten and battered 41, still running and now threatening for the 5th place spot.
Halfway home, 15 down, 15 to go. We're watching racing for what appears to be 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th at the moment. Potasic's neon yellow 06 right there. Fody's 85, Hubbard's 41, and it's Erickson. He's kind of strung on the high groove and losing spots rapidly.
You see Mike Shimmick looks like he was inching to the outside of the pit lane, possibly to return, as the 41 gets on by the 22. And that will put the 41 of Mark Hubbard into the top 5 despite a flattened right side. He's going to put it on Jim Fody.
Hubbard finding a groove that he has used a lot. We've seen it a lot here on Home Track Heroes. That car really scoots around the middle of this racetrack quite nicely, especially when he can get some rhythm involved. Now, the only way that he's doing that is that if it's only body damage that you've seen on Hubbard, if any of the suspension or any of the setup had gotten knocked even like an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch off, that car wouldn't handle like the way it is. So Hubbard working it, trying to pass Fody, trying to pick up another spot. That is the battle for 4th between the red with white 85, black trim, and the baby blue with red number 41.
Yeah, that 41 car has been good all season. See that right side when we get the shot of it rolling through turn number 1, just how much damage has been sustained. He is chasing your defending winner, the 85 of Jim Fody, who came away with it at the Mark Galloway shootout.
So Fody is just a couple of car lengths back from Potasic. Again, fresh off a win, his first win in a number of years, I believe 8 to 9 seasons is what I was told was the last time since Jim had been in victory lane, and rededicated himself this offseason, put a lot into his engine program and more, and back to his winning ways this year and doing a good job holding off Mark Hubbard, at least for the time being.
And we will have 9 to go as you see Jesse Jensen and how much of a gap he's built up to Doug Poyer. This isn't like Justin Brave, who we saw do this earlier on in the main event for the mini stocks. He's got some of the more competitive cars right on his tail, and he's still pulling away in that 3.
Yeah, Jensen might even have speed in reserve at this point in time. As if you don't need to use it, why push it? Why hurt your equipment any more than it already is? We're watching Hubbard, again, torn up right front fender, and hood not looking so great either. Trying to roll the middle on Jim Fody. Fody doing a good job of keeping his line, staying strong down low, but Hubbard finally had that run through the middle of the corner that we've been waiting for him to put together. Pulls even with him down the front straightaway, and we'll see what 1 and 2 look like in Hubbard's quest for 4th.
And this very well might be the chance Hubbard needed to get to the 4th place spot. Podium is not out of reach if he can make this move in the next 2 laps. try and chase down Steve Potasek 06 car. What a comeback it would be to go from being involved in that wreck to all the way back onto a podium, even with a crushed right side.
Problem for Hubbard is that you got to be really precise in that outside groove coming off of turn number 4. If you get back to the gas too quickly, back end will step out around you and you'll end up kissing the wall. But Hubbard, the seasoned veteran, did it for about 4 straight laps, and looks like he's got the right run on Fody to finally close that down, if he can get it closed down before he gets up to Shimmick.
There he goes. He will clear the 85 of Jim Fody, and 4 to go for the number 3 of Jesse Jensen in that sleek black and red Tire Pros machine. As you see now, the 41 of Mark Hubbard in hot pursuit of the 06 of Steve Potasek.
On the outside looking in for a podium finish here is Hubbard, who's cleared Fody. Down to 3 to go for Jesse. The 3 car, 3 laps, and absolutely dominant here. Second place just barely clipping the nose of the race car into the screen coming off the corner. In fact, Potasek has caught Doug Poyer, so the race for second is on.
Yeah, that it is. We'll hit 2 to go when they come around this time. And you see the 06 waiting for his opportunity. The 41 closing the gap. He might threaten for second. At this point, nothing for certain as Poyer still holding on for now. Potasek putting the pressure on. 2 of them will duel down the backstretch and into turn number 3.
Realistically, if Potasek can do something here on this final lap, it might open a small door up for Hubbard, as they are awfully close coming off the corner with 3/8 of a mile remaining. Jensen is going to win by a country mile here. But we're watching 2, 3, and 4 on the final lap. Poyer down the back straightaway opens up just a little bit, as Jensen's going to get the win, but the question is second, third, and fourth.
Now here he goes. Hubbard going to try and make some kind of move to the inside. Drag race to the line. And looks like the scoring bar still showing the 06 of Steve Potasek holding on to that final podium spot. I'll run on down and get you those interviews.
Steve, you came into tonight sitting 3rd in points after the incidents ahead. It's fairly reasonable to say it's likely you jumped to the lead. That 06 car is fast. You battled it out with those drivers, but what was it like looking in your rearview mirror with 1 lap to go, and here comes a car with a flattened right side?
I don't have a mirror, and I don't care what's behind me. I just got to thank the crew for being here today. The car's been hard all year. It's way better today. Got a couple more things to do, and hopefully make it to the top.
Well, we hope to see you up here. Got any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Thanks to Long Auto Sports.
Driver of the 06, that's Steve Potasek. Doug, you had that car pretty good there. Fought your way through the traffic. You think maybe if you just could have pushed through a tiny bit faster, you could have had something for the 3?
No, the car's just not fast enough. It's hard to beat cars that are built that good. It's just, that's all it's had. It's as good as it's probably going to get, but it was still fun.
You have anyone you'd like to thank?
Dave Lund, Lugs, Gene, Geoff, Casey, the girls, J2 Racing, Bow Wow Volkswagen, Snap-on Tools, Matt, everybody in the pits, Dwayne.
Driver of the number 57, Doug Poyer, finishes second tonight. You have a fast car underneath you every single week, and that 3 was no exception tonight. But I want to go back to the heat race. I want you to walk us through that move on the final lap, up into the dirt, sideways into 3. How did you keep it underneath you?
You could call it luck, but I was on the outside of Doug. We were running hard. I ran out of real estate, got up in the gravel. Luckily, that access road on the backstretch is way wider now, so helped me out a little bit to save it. And then Doug kind of slid up in the middle of 3 and 4, and I just got grip and made it to the bottom and made it a fun finish.
That highlight reel moment, I'm sure, earned you a couple of fans out here tonight. Who would you like to thank for putting that 3 car together?
The Manabusen family, they're here. They always help us. They're huge supporters of our race team. Can't thank them enough. Tire Pros, obviously, for making it happen. Rob Wilk, Jeff Fillmore, Randall West. They're the greatest crew guys a guy could have. They put this thing together. They're what make it fast. I appreciate them a lot. It means the world to me that they work on the car so hard. And Doug,
Dirk and Kristen Kruzwick, obviously the car owners, and Ryan from Tire Pros, which I already said. But anyway, thank you guys so much for the support.
Driver of the number 3-year race winner tonight, that's Jesse Jensen.
Well, it is time for the highlight of the night here on Home Track Heroes on CW11. He's Derek Todoroff. I am Caleb Hart. The Speedway Chevrolet late models onto the track, 125 laps for the Central Welding 125. And the lineup looks like this.
Oh, we start off on the front row. On pole, the number 98, sponsored by Bennett Design and Construction. That is Greg Bennett. He'll be alongside the 12C, sponsored by Trademark RCS of Chad Fitzpatrick.
Check out row number 2 on the inside, rolling out a brand new Central Welding themed wrap on the Joe's Racing Products number 78. That is Haley Constance. Right next to her, it is the 3 of Wyatt Gardner, sponsored by Gardner Roofing.
Row number 3, that's got the K9 of Caden Holm, sponsored by Johansson Mechanical, and the 18 in Naima Lang, sponsored by J&R Truck Rental.
4th row, the Busch Light, number 7D of Dawson Cox. Next to him, it's Colton Price, the 14 car, sponsored by Northwest Boiler.
Nick Beecher leads row number 5, sponsored by Kendall Auto Group in the number 45, alongside the 88 of Ted Lindgren, sponsored by American Image Hair Replacement.
Row behind them, the new Property Solutions 33G of Nick Gunderson. Outside of Gunderson, it's the PRCBD number 16 of Daniel Moore.
The 5 of Brad Thomas, inside of row number 7 in the Armageddon Arms machine. And the HCI Steel Buildings 32 is driven by Chase Gardner.
And Andrew Link is your final starter. Earhart Sales sponsors the 25 car. So 15 cars, 125 times around the 3/8, and we are going to see a real exercise for these drivers, not only in physical endurance, but mental endurance as well as a test of the crews and crew chiefs in making a race car good for 125 laps.
Oh yeah, consistently across the races we've seen so far this season, there's been some drivers with amazing short run cars, some with very balanced cars, and some with fantastic long run cars. I will say one of the short run experts I've seen so far this season, the K9 of Caden Holm. He starts inside row number 3.
We'll keep our eyes peeled on the K9, the Speedway Chevrolet pace car. The Camaro out there making laps. Yellow lights still on here as we roll around the back straightaway and get ready to see the 1 to go signal. This segment brought to you by Angel the Winds Casino Resort. They now have sports betting. Think you can pick a winner? Prove it at Angel the Winds Casino Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle. Exit 210 off I-5 in Arlington.
Lights go out around the track and on the pace car. 125 scheduled laps. That's what we'll get in tonight. The Speedway Chevrolet pace car will pull into the infield. 3/8 oval for 125 times. Working their way through turn number 3. Bennett and Fitzpatrick will lead them. Rolling out of turn number 4. Green flag is in the air, and we're racing for the Central Welding Supply 125.
It was an excellent start for Fitzpatrick, but Bennett really rallied to the bottom of turn number 1. Drove the car so hard into the corner that he pulled back even with Chad. Now Fitzpatrick's got the edge around the middle and to the outside. Boy, his exit at turn number 4 really, really good. Lap number 1, Fitzpatrick takes the top spot. Bennett settling into second, and it is Constance in the Central Welding themed car, sitting in the 3rd spot here in the early going.
Top battle, Caden Holm and Wyatt Gardner side by side for 4th. K9 on the inside where he started in 5th. Wyatt Gardner trying to hold on to that 4th place starting position. As you see him fall back in the way of Naima Lang, 7D of Dawson Cox now working on the inside of Gardner. Colton Price is number 14 on the inside of the 18 in Lang.
A lot of fast guys intermixed throughout the entirety of this field, but right now, Fitzpatrick, who notoriously over the last couple of years here on Home Track Heroes has been really good in the early goings of races, is really good right now and opening it up over Bennett and Constance. They sit 2 and 3. Behind them, a good run up into 4th for Holm, who's right up on the back of Haley and looking to crack the top 3 early on in this contest.
I've had a few conversations with some of these drivers in the pits before races, one of them being Nick Beecher. And Beecher, kind of our resident expert. You've seen him earlier this season leading races and slowly falling back, unfortunately, because of tire wear. You got to wonder, 120 laps to go, that's a long time to be working those tires. If you push them too hard now, do you have anything left for a late charge?
Now, the nice thing is for our pro late models this week, they were allowed to pick up 4 tires on tire day, so all of them should have fresh rubber on every single one of the corners, minus what they did to scuff and practice and time in earlier. So these things are going to have the most possible life they can get out of them. Right now, it's Fitzpatrick using it to his full advantage to open that lead up over Bennett, who's running a really solid second. It's Constance under fire from Holm in third, and Holm from the in-car cam staring along at the Diablos logo on the back of Haley's 78 and trying to figure out the combination to get by her.
Holm, like I said, has had some short run speed, so wouldn't be surprised if he starts to fall off just a little bit more as the run goes on. But putting a lot of pressure early on that 78 machine of Haley Constance.
Let's see how hard he drives deep into the corner as he closes up on her at the apex of the turn. Constance gets away at corner exit and going forward. Just different paths to navigate Evergreen Speedway. Some drivers like to be driving deeper into the corner, try to get underneath somebody and move them out of the line. Others prefer picking up the throttle a little bit earlier in the corner after getting rotated in. From your leaders cam now, here's Fitzpatrick driving right into the sunshine, and boy, Chad, watch the hands. Watch the hands on the steering wheel. Just a little touch to get the car into the turn, right back out solid, and just little itty-bitty adjustments. He is having a nice, easy drive.
Oh, he's loving this right now. He's got open space as we see a battle here back for 5th. 70 of Dawson Cox in front of Colton Price is 14, and the 18 in Nema Lang.
Lang kind of quiet early here in the going, although granted we're only 11 laps into a 125-lap race, but Nema is usually pushing a little bit harder in the early stages of this to get, 3rd, 4th if he started about in the 6th spot. And right now, Nema just hanging out, cruising, making laps, biding his time, because Lord knows you got a lot of them. Price to the inside and around, and that'll draw our first caution of this main event.
Yeah, that number 14 car looked like he just got a little bit too greedy, made contact with the inside of the 7D.
Oh, we're going to get a look at it from a couple of different angles here. Here's Lang, who was right behind him into the corner, saw it happening, quick adjustment, Nema goes by. Into the turn, there's Colton. You can see him visor up in the shot and looking in his rearview mirror, and yep, there's a look from the up top cam. So unfortunately for Colton, he's going to the back of the field. He's going to have to work his way back forward.
Oh, yeah, but I want you to hear me out on this one. That 14 car, I talked about long-run machines. That is one of them, the 14 of Colton Price. I think he can work his way all the way back up to the front and try and make something happen tonight.
Well, if ever there was a time, if ever there was a race to do this long race is going to be one of them. Colton has a lot of time to go, as we're going to get a look from the inside of the newly remade Ted Lindgren machine. You remember he nearly sawed that car in half early on in the season in his Pro Late Model debut. We're back to action as he's following around Wyatt Gardner in the 3 car.
Well, just a little bit to chat on that a tiny bit. That 88 car, I watched it. It couldn't go home in the trailer. Had to go home on the back of a tow truck. It was so totaled after that incident on May 21st.
Didn't like that start, so they called it back. We're going to try that one once again, and it's fun watching for the in-car cockpit cameras. Thank you to Brandy Hood Promotions for giving us all that in-car video. Second try at this, and again, this race is still in the very early stages. Let's go in-car with 3 cars this time. 1 wasn't good enough. Let's go 3.
Constance top left, Bennett top right, and inside of row 2, outside of row 1, and then Dawson Cox sitting inside of row number 3.
Right, green flag out as we watch Fitzpatrick and Bennett battle down the front row. Bennett, one of those guys who is notorious for driving really hard into the corner, did so, but you can see, and that was the give and take, Fitzpatrick picked up the throttle a little bit later and had a little more speed down the straightaway. Those two side by side, and it sure looks like Bennett takes the lead that time around.
That he will. Haley Constance, though, falling back through the field as Fitzpatrick going to be fighting for his lead back. The 18 to Nema Lang working the high side on Caden Holm. Will get by, it looks like, through that corner, and he'll put pressure as Haley Constance all out of work, out of turn number 4.
Well, surprise, surprise. Nema Lang is now up into the top 3. Who would have seen that coming?
Oh, no one.
Here's Nema looking inside on Fitzpatrick now for second. Down to the bottom of the 3rd corner. Chad going to pick up the throttle, and he will hold on to it. Fitzpatrick's car, I don't know if he was taking it easy there for a lap or so, but now looks like it's coming back to life because look at the distance that he just put between himself and Lang in a hurry.
Well, Lang also got real loose coming out of turn number 4. Back end kicked out. He managed to keep it underneath him. That's the experience of a 7-time champion, but still to have your car loose like that, you're not going to enjoy it as Although, what you mentioned, Fitzpatrick is all the way back to Greg Bennett.
Yeah, I think this is Fitzpatrick's car coming back to life. Him stepping on it a little bit as he is right up on the back of Bennett. 16 laps into this race. Meanwhile, from deep in the field, Andrew Link making moves, and we got a car around for the second time. Colton Price again doing the loop-de-loo.
I think we're going to stay green, though. We got it straightened back out. I don't see caution lights. And Price will spin around, but we will, in fact, stay green even as they travel through the smoke. And Fitzpatrick will make a move to the low side of Greg Bennett.
Looking hard down to the bottom of turn number 1. Bennett moves just a hair off the groove. There goes Fitzpatrick, looking to put his number right up against Bennett's number in the middle of the turn. Fitzpatrick trying to climb his way back into the race lead, and off of turn number 4, he's going to do it. 19 laps into this race and 106 to go.
Well, Nema Lane looked like he was going to follow whoever won, but he got out of whack again down the backstretch and into 3. So we'll see if he can keep it all together and make something against Greg Bennett's number 98. Now that Fitzpatrick's in the lead with clean air once again, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him check on out of this race.
Yeah, he's going to want this to stay green for a while as once that car gets into clean air, he is really, really good. Fitzpatrick, Bennett, Lang 3, Holm 4. Cox sitting in the 5th position, your top 5 in your running order. As we are ticking the laps away, but again, 125 lappers. So this one, I mean, it's not even 20% done here yet.
No, I mean, and this is very much, like you mentioned, an endurance race, a test of driver and car stamina. How long can you hold on to these machines? And I'm confident we can see a lot of performance from some of these drivers a bit further back. They might come alive here as these laps start to tick off.
So now, sorry to interrupt, we got a couple of veterans getting after it. It's Lang who's gotten to the inside of Bennett. Nema Lang, opportunity, and takes advantage. Caden Holm, oh, he got a little bit racy. Meanwhile, right behind him, Haley Constance found opportunity to get inside Dawson Cox. A lot happening there in your top 5 in just a lap and a half.
Oh, yeah, and you see Lang sticking right there on the inside of Greg Bennett. He's not going to enjoy that. Anytime where Lang has his preferred line on you, you're going to dread every moment of it, but he's sticking side by side. They'll get the 100 lap to go mark here. As they come out of turn number 4, Fitzpatrick will take it, and Nema Lang assumes control of the 2nd place spot.
A lot of these drivers will divide a race like this just up into segments, and I don't know if they're going all the way into like a 5-segment long deal, but for those who think linearly like I kind of do, all right, 1st, 5th done. We got 4 more segments of 25 out of the way. Now what do you do? The feeling out process is over. You should know what kind of race car you have. Now is where you're going to see some of the drivers begin to push a little bit to try to send their way up the pack.
I think one of those drivers might be Caden Holm. He just got by Greg Bennett. Now he's going to have a shot at the back of the 18. He's proven to be fast, so you got to wonder, Nema Lang, Caden Holm, those two might duke it out, and that might be what Chad Fitzpatrick needs to just get further and further away. Is never mind, Caden Holm slipping up.
Look, about 3 laps ago, Haley Constance was back in 6th. She's now 5th and right up on 4th and 3rd with a chance to make something happen. Bennett looking for opportunity to get back up the field and by as he is car length back of Holm getting into the corner. But again, Bennett, one of those guys who drives really hard into the turn. You expect him to make gap up, entering corners, and lose a little bit getting off depending on how good his car is.
It looks like that's exactly what's happening. Is you see him fall back from the K9 as they exit out of 4, but he will close back in when they go into turn number 3.
And all it's going to take is a mistake from Caden at corner entrance to give Greg the run that he's going to need to move him out of the groove. Holm in the white 9, the white, black, and red 98 of Greg Bennett, and the white, blue, orange, and black 78, the new scheme on the Haley Constance car for the Central Welding 125. And boy, she's putting a lot of pressure on Greg for 4th.
Oh yeah, those two have a little bit of a history. Got together a bit during the Mark Galloway shootout. I think all bridges have been mended, however, and the two of them will race each other cleanly during this one.
Haley is a recent high school graduate. She's had a lot on her mind. There's no room in her heart for hate at the moment.
That's a good way to put it.
Allegedly. They'll work their way through 3 and off of 4, where your leader, Chad Fitzpatrick, has seen his gap over Nema Lang shrink a little bit here over the past couple of laps. Fitzpatrick down to 3 car lengths over Nema as they exit turn number 2. We are quick math, 32 laps into this. So at this point in time, they're approaching what would be halfway of a normal length 75 lapper around, as Chad Fitzpatrick continuing to show his quality, holding a couple of car lengths over Naima Lang. There is that battle for fourth that we talked about, and Constance has made her way to the inside of Bennett. Looks like she's going to assume the spot.
Oh, the two of them are racing side by side, but as you said, out of turn number 4, Constance slides up, and as we talked about earlier, Bennett's harder time on the exit. Perfect time to make the pass. And it looks like that 78 will now control the 4th place spot.
So Haley is in the 4th spot. That is the lap car of Chase Gardner, one of our mini stock division move-ups. Him and his dad Mike working on that program together. Meanwhile, Fitzpatrick now is dealing with heavier traffic in front of him. That's the 5 of Brad Thomas. They're working on clearing him. They've cleared the 25 of Andrew Link. Gets by both of them, incident-free, at least Chad does. Can Naima get by as well? Yes, he can, and we're back to racing for position with no slower cars interfering.
Well, Caden Holmes not going to be too happy about the cars now in his way on his trek to get back to your race leaders. See Gardner fall into the 78 and 98 of Constance and Bennett.
Oh, this race has been interesting. No matter where we've been watching, a lot of movement amongst the top 5. It's the Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late models, the Central Welding 125, and we're back with more action here on Home Track Heroes next on the CW11. Well, we are 37 laps into your Central Welding 125 here on Home Track Heroes in the CW11. I'm Caleb Hart. The other voice you hear is Derek Todoroff. Your leader for about all but 3 laps of this thing so far has been Chad Fitzpatrick. Naima Lang second in the 18, and Caden Holmes is third as you're in car with Greg Bennett on the far right-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, Bennett chasing down the 78 machine of Haley Constance. I know Bennett also under pressure from behind, I believe from the 7D of Dawson Cox. So that battle should be interesting to watch from that in-car shot from the 98 machine.
Have you noticed during the in-car stuff that we have shown the difference in the lighting on the racetrack right now as the sun's going down? That's going to be playing havoc with some of these drivers' eyes a little bit.
Oh yeah, the sun has gone down and the moon has come up. And we're ready to roll here as you see working to the inside of Brad Thomas's number 5.
Thomas, a slower car, he is no longer on the lead lap, so Bennett just merely trying to get clear of him, so he continues to try to chase Haley, and it's amazing how quick from the in-car shots these laps go by as we're going to flash forward to Caden Holm. Holm right now in the 3rd position. He's got a view of your lead 2 you see on the left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, he's slowly working his way back to him as Fitzpatrick and Lang go to the inside of that black and red 33G of Nick Gunderson.
Gunderson will go a lap down as Fitzpatrick trying to open it up a little bit down the back straightaway. Closing in here is, boy, the laps tick away. They go quickly, but we do have 125. A lot of race still left. That's a sentiment you'll hear us echo many times over as your left-hand screen has gone back to 4th place. Haley Constance for just a second. She's trying to chase the guy on the right-hand side of your screen, Caden Holm, in the K9, who has got to close and pass on Nick Gunderson, the slower car in front of him.
Yeah, and if you're watching that bar tick along on the bottom, you'll notice someone has moved back into the top 10 following 2 spins, that being Colton Price, whose name should be coming up right about now. And now, well, he's on our in-car camera here. On the right side, that number 14 machine of Colton Price has been working back on through that long-run car, really coming into its stride here with 80 laps to go.
Gotta wonder if he is driving motivated too because of what happened on those 2 spin outs and knowing, okay, I've put myself in a pretty big hole. I've got to be on kill going forward. You also wonder, like, what's he done to the race car to have to work his way back through this pack?
Yeah, that is true. He sits 8th right now, chasing Dawson Cox, who you can see at the edge of the shot on his in-car camera. He's got to get by Chase Gardner and Brad Thomas's 32 and 5, which sit in his way right now.
Price looking really good. And again, I watch a lot of your hands in the cockpit and how the guys are working the steering wheel. And he's making one little subtle turn coming into the corner. Hands are moving a little bit just with the natural vibration of the race car. But boy, he is not having to work super hard to keep that car down at the bottom of the racetrack.
See him work low past the lapped cars of Chase Gardner and Brad Thomas. Meanwhile, on the left side of your screen, you see Ted Lindgren about to come under fire from the orange and yellow number 12 of Chad Fitzpatrick. The 18 of Naima Lang still in hot pursuit, trying to close the gap. See, the K9 has been reeling him in inch by inch, lap by lap.
The right-hand side of your screen, 7D Dawson Cox, who's in the 6th position and appears to be a ways back of Greg Bennett and Haley Constance, who run in 5th and 4th. Dawson's point of view as he tries to catch up to those two.
Looks like he might have actually fallen back to 7th because I see the 16 of Daniel Moore, that green and purple number 16, in his way on the path to the number 98 of Greg Bennett.
So Dawson's fighting it a little bit. Your in-car look over on the right-hand side of the screen. Again, big thank you to Brandy Hood Promotions for the in-car shots. Your race leader on the left-hand side of the screen is Chad Fitzpatrick, and he's coming into a couple of cars running in similar lanes. They're going side by side ahead of him for position, and now might be decision time for Chad.
Yeah, Lindgren and Beecher might force a choice out of the number 12 car. And see Lindgren get real loose, and just like that, the choice is gone. Lindgren will fall in behind the 2 race leaders. Caden Holm will be forced to take a bit of a higher road, as meanwhile the 12C has to get by the 45 of Nick Beecher.
All right, so Holm will get by Lindgren as well. Nama's gotten by. Top 3 trying to work their way now past Nick Beecher, as those 3 have cruised and have a lot of distance between themselves and the field. Out in front, it is Chad Fitzpatrick with a car length or 2 advantage over Nama Lang. And third is Caden Holm, as you see Lang swing way wide in the front straightaway. Changes his entry point a bit into turn number 1 as he's trying something different. Number 1 to get underneath Beecher, but 2 to try to maybe make up some ground on Fitzpatrick.
I think that second one is completely right. I mean, he's had so much time to try and work into Chad Fitzpatrick's lead. We haven't seen him struggle that much this season to get 2 cars like that. Shows you the caliber of machine that 12C has under the hood.
Yeah, 55 laps into this, and Fitzpatrick really is truly looked like your strongest car all throughout this. Fitzpatrick leads Lang 2, Holm 3, as we are rapidly closing in on the halfway point of this main event.
Yeah, battle on screen right now, 16 of Daniel Moore and the 98 of Greg Bennett going back and forth. That is the battle for 5th position. Moore running in 6th. He was the car that got by the 7D of Dawson Cox. See Nick Gunderson on the edge of that picture. And a bit further back, Colton Price is 14, putting pressure on the 7D of Dawson Cox.
Moore, one of our feature winners on the year here in the Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Models. Guys looking for his first of the year is Chad Fitzpatrick. That is the orange and yellow 12 car up in the front of your screen. Lang and now Holm trying to clear Beecher. Beecher not exactly racing him hard, but not making it easy on him as well, as he is up a groove, giving him the shorter line around the racetrack.
Was June of 2021 when Chad Fitzpatrick last took home a win in that 12C machine. Nama Lang, on the other hand, already has one this season. Caden Holm in the K9 pursuing his first of the season as well. So all 3 of those drivers have something to race for right now.
And Macon Holm would be pursuing the first of his career here at Evergreen Speedway in the Pro Late Models as well. Not just the first of the year, right?
I believe so.
Down the back straightaway, they continue to roll that 2nd and 3rd, the 18 of Lang and the 9 of Holm. And, what is it? Quick math, next time around, maybe? 2 more times around, we're at the halfway point of this main event. Cross flags will hit. In fact, we'll say next time or the time after, depending on how you want to divide 125 in half. 62.5 and 62.5, right?
Yeah, that's the right math. As you see Colton Price getting by the 7D of Dawson Cox, he'll move into the 7th place spot with that.
It's going to be fascinating to see if we get a caution flag here for Colton. If he can get a yellow, the way that he is coming back through this field has been impressive. Now, again, he's probably had to really reef on that race car to get her up and forward. He's probably had to use a lot of tire up, but Colton Price just looking stronger and stronger as every lap goes by.
Well, Nama Lang has fallen back from Chad Fitzpatrick and into the reach of Caden Holm's K9. We'll see if there's a chance as they got the cross flags this time halfway home on the path.
Over halfway at this point. 64 in, 61 to go. So Fitzpatrick just continuing to steamroll forward, and everybody else, all right, guys, halfway done. What do you got left? It's just a hair shorter than a normal length race as our longest of the year on the 3/8 mile continues.
And here we got the end car from the K9 of Caden Holm. Watching that back end of the 18 of Nema Lang, you see Andrew Link car they're now putting another lap on. He's running right in that same groove as Nema every chance he gets. Looking all around on the back of that number 18 car.
Holm rolling through turns 1 and 2. Back straight away, Nema just sitting there a little ways away from him as Caden trying to catch him, much less put a move on him. Catching him's one thing, getting around him a whole second story.
So with 58 to go, 12 of Chad Fitzpatrick closing in to put another lap on the 32 of Chase Gardner. It is still Fitzpatrick, Lang, and Holm, your top 3. Then Constance and Bennett rounding out your top 5.
We haven't talked about the drivers at the back of the field a whole heck of a lot, but what great seat time for them. Obviously, when your faster cars are rolling in, they're being given the move over flag or being signaled by their spotter, hey, leader's coming, give them plenty of room to race. But the rest of the time when they can be out there on their own, that is a ton of quality competitive laps that they're putting in to try to make themselves better and figure out what about their cars they can do better as well.
Well, and sure, this race might not be the one they come home with a win, but every race can be a learning experience and another chance to build a better car, build a better skill set, and eventually contend for those wins. There were years in the past we saw Haley Constance struggle. Years in the past we saw Greg Bennett struggle, both of them running top 5. Chad Fitzpatrick, as we mentioned, it's been 2 years since he last won.
Taking a look, your battle for second is closing up very rapidly as Holm has come in, and we have got a car around you. Commentators cursed Greg Bennett. Way to go, Todoroff. Way to go as Greg loops it in turn at number 3. And, well, hopefully it's a learning experience for him as he gets up, and there it is. He just got a little too high on the racetrack. Right side tires just off that extra pavement, and around he went. So Bennett with the caution, and that's going to group this field up that is gigantic for one guy. And you know who I'm talking about. It's Colton Price.
Oh, yeah. That 14 car has been on a blitzkrieg forward, and now he's got another chance. They're all stacked up as we got first, second, and fourth on your in-car cameras for this restart.
This will be fascinating with Fitzpatrick and Lang on the front row, and that's what Chad did not want to see. Chad didn't want to give Nema Lang any chance to pull up door panel to door panel with him, as we'll come back to green down the front straightaway.
And you see a lot of cars loose back there. American Image 88 of Ted Lindgren, the 14 of Colton Price, all real loose as Caden Holm reassumes third from Haley Constance. The battle up front, though, is not over yet. Nema running that high side against Chad Fitzpatrick on the low lane.
And Fitzpatrick holding him off for the time being, but Lang not done. He's going to try to get up to the door panel in the middle of 1 and 2. Accelerates down the back straightaway. That battle still a good one. Spotters telling him car high, car low, and now Fitzpatrick clears him going into 3 and has the lead all to himself.
I mean, look at them go right now. Battle for 5th heating up. That's Dawson Cox and the 14 of Colton Price, someone we've talked about as he looks to clear the 7D. Now your top 5 will make that top 6 all really under a blanket here. Back to the lapped car, the 33G of Nick Gunderson.
More laps clip off as Fitzpatrick continues to lead. Lang, Holm, Constance, Price now your top 5. And again, Price has been the car on the move from the back of the field after 2 spin-outs and 2 times going to the back. He has worked his way back up to 5th and is pursuing Haley Constance. She is not getting too far away from him.
No, that 14 car is sticking right there on the back end of the Central Welding Supply 78. As meanwhile, Chad Fitzpatrick's trademark RCS 12 starting to put the distance between him and the 18 of Nema Lang.
This time by, Derek, we're 75 laps in, 50 to go. So we are 3/5 of the way down. 2 more 25 lap segments left. If you want to look at it that way. And right now, the length of a normal Pro Late Model race around the 3/8 would be done. Now it's the bonus 50 for those drivers who have set their cars up and ready to go. And let's see what they do. I mean, right now, the only thing hiccuping Chad Fitzpatrick's been starts and restarts. He has been, once the green flag flies and he gets a lap or 2 into him, pretty well uncatchable.
Oh, yeah, that 12 car has been fantastic. And right now, as he's got Nema Lang trying to take him down, it's not really working. That 18 falling back, it seems, each lap. And Caden Holm loving every moment of it because it means he can stay right there on the back end of Nema Lang and wait for his chance to make a move.
Constance is still close to the back of the K9 of Holm. Meanwhile, there's Bennett trying to work his way back up and through the field. We know Greg Bennett's got the speed. Question is, does he have the time? We'll see what he can do to come back up and through this pack and maybe threaten for a top 5 by the end of the race.
Well, it may not look like it, but he's actually under pressure. Nick Beecher got the lucky dog in that number 45 car. Now he'll have a chance to try and do something against Greg Bennett's number 98, take that position away, not be the last car on the lead lap.
Second, third, fourth, and fifth. Put them on a string, roll them all together. They're not quite nose to tail all the way through. Meanwhile, back in the pack, you see Gunderson's 33. Is that who that is? Yes, it is. Beecher's 45. Going to race. For third, Constance, a look inside a Holm. Holm will turn her away for the time being.
Looks like she might have given a little bit of a tap to the inside of Holm. Probably not intentional. And you see that 78 car right on the tail of the K9 as that's putting some nice distance that Naima Lang is loving to see between him and the third place driver.
A couple of drivers from the micro sprint ranks up at Deming Speedway going to battle for the third position. Holm and Constance. Constance, another look down low. Shoots the nose in, doesn't have him cleared. Holm has the room to come down and close the door, but Haley's going to keep after him. She's had 2 pretty decent looks to the inside, but hasn't made it convert yet.
She's going to try and make it work, but she's got Price all over the back end. Mini stock champion trying to find his way to the front. After all this time, he's running 5th into the top 5. I mean, he's gained 10 positions since that first spin out.
See if Colton Price has got anything to get around Constance as the laps continue to tick by. Caden Holm, the 9 car, 3rd. Haley Constance, the 78 car, 4th. Colton Price, the 14, is up into 5th. Your lead 2 not too far away from them as Chad Fitzpatrick has completed a bunch of laps here. 84 coming into 85 complete and 40 to go. Don't miss it. The thrilling conclusion coming up next here on Home Track Heroes on CW11. Well, we only have a little bit longer left here in our Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Model main event. This is the Central Welding 125. Chad Fitzpatrick, your leader here on Home Track Heroes. I'm Caleb Hart. He is Derek Todoroff, and we are watching Naima Lang all over the back of Fitzpatrick here as Naima looking to get by and possibly take the top spot.
You got to wonder, maybe Nama's feeling like, oh, the tires are starting to go. He wants to try and make this move now while he can. Trying to put all the pressure he can on the back end of that 12 car of Chad Fitzpatrick, but Chad not having any of it. And now the rest of the top 5 starting to close back in on Naima.
Well, you know, we are 86 laps into this race, make it 87 laps into this race. These guys pushing their equipment to the max, and if they're going to do that, a lot of them choose Bardall. Bardall Manufacturing, located in Seattle, world leader in automotive lubricants with oils, additives, lubricants for your car, truck, boat, pro late model, toy, you name it. Pick the brand racers around the world rely on Bardall, celebrating over 82 years in business and operating in 90 countries. Make Bardall your brand.
Now we see Greg Bennett's 98 has worked back to the 7D of Dawson Cox. That battle for 6th will be carrying on while we focus on our top 5 who are still right under a blanket. The 14 working on 78.
Yeah, impressive that we're this far into this race and your top 5 are only like, I don't know, 2 seconds apart from your leader to your 5th place car at the moment. Those guys really evenly matched here at this stage of the race.
I mean, all these cars doing fantastic all race long. Now it's going to come down to endurance, like we talked about at the start. Has your car held up this entire time? Have you taken care of your tires? Are you still in this race, or is your mind still fully here?
Yeah, they've done 90 laps around, and it's very easy, considering that we haven't had an abundance of yellow flags for them to breathe, relax, regather. And it kind of shows you, you know, we've talked about his car being the best, but Chad Fitzpatrick has run a really solid race. Those couple of laps that he didn't lead when Bennett had it, he was right back to the front and getting there. This has been one of the most impressive Chad Fitzpatrick showings that we have seen, period, in a late model.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, to accomplish a fantastic race like this in a late model, you need both a good car and a good driver. And I think Chad has that finally. There's been times that car hasn't been up to par, but he's always been a fantastic driver in that 12 machine.
Well, you want to look at it, too. It's not like Chad has been running 2nd and 3rd and knocking on the door of the win this year. This is a big jump for the performance that he's had so far. You know, he's had a handful of top 5s and some laps led here or there, but tonight he is putting her all together and putting it on him as we watch Bennett sneak on past Dawson Cox. Bennett, the 98 car, back another spot forward.
Looks like there might have been a little bit of contact between the two, and it looked like Dawson just returned the favor. up the back and made some contact, but they hold onto it. We stay green. 30 laps to go. 95 down in the book.
That's right. This segment brought to you by Central Welding Supply. Their mission of excellent service hasn't changed since 1975. Locally owned, larger inventory and expert staff makes the difference at 27 locations. Find one near you. CentralWelding.com. The Central Welding sponsored car runs fourth with Haley Constance as she's losing touch with Caden Holm a little bit. Holm a car length behind. Namalang for second. They're all after Chad Fitzpatrick in the 12th car for the top spot.
Oh, and Chad's starting to pull away now from those other 4 in the top 5. But like we've talked about, they're staying real close together. You see Lang and then Holm, hardly a second between that 18 and the 14, and just that big group of 4 really making it interesting.
One major mistake can cause a huge shakeup here. Even a subtle mistake might cost one of these drivers a spot or two, considering how evenly matched they are. As you can see, Cox in the 7 car really fighting the handle on that thing late, as he's going to drop a spot to Beecher, who sneaks underneath him. He may not drop a spot. Beecher might be lapped at this point.
No, Beecher got the lucky dog
That's
at our
right.
caution.
Okay, so Beecher is actually passing for position here. Cox really fighting the 7 cars. It looks like it's getting super loose here in the late stages.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that machine. Maybe it is, like we talked about, tires starting to go off on the 7D. But he is falling back, as you see on the board. Beecher taking over that 7th place spot. Some sparks coming off 7D.
Well, the next time your leader crosses the transponder loop, 100 laps down, 25 to go, as Cox going to work back to the inside of Beecher. And there you see it tick off on the ticker. So we're 100 down and 25 to go, 4/5 of the way into this race. Nick Beecher has just retaken 7th away from Dawson Cox and trying to open up on him. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in your screen now. Lang, Holm, Constance, and behind them Price, all chasing the orange 12.
Oh, Price really putting pressure on the back end of Constance now. You saw him maybe give a little bit of a tap through 3. He's right there on the back bumper. I think he's starting to run out of patience or becoming acutely aware that he is running out of time.
Well, remember how hard he had to push his car just to get back to this field, and you wonder if those spin-outs hadn't happened, where Colton would be right now, as he is all over the back of Haley, trying to ascend one more position. Holm, car length back, and Nema has just been unable to really do anything with him. We've seen him roll up to him a few times, but never swing out of the groove to make a charge. As Lang has run a solid 2nd for probably, 90-plus laps now?
Well, we've seen everyone spread out a bit more here in this top 4. You got to wonder, is that the 78 slowing down or the K9 speeding up as contact between them? And here goes Colton Price to the inside of Haley Constance.
Very subtle little tap off of turn number 2 might have set up everything Price needs to do. Down the front straightaway they go, and Colton has worked his way up to 4th. Nice move for the 14.
And that 14 machine now going to start to pull back into your top 3. Haley, though, not going to let him go away without a fight. They've got their work cut out for them. 19 to go at this point.
And there's no holding back on anything. If they had anything in reserve, everybody's going for it now. The question is, how much do they have left, and how much is their car going to fade? As nobody running down Chad Fitzpatrick yet. Holm, you can't tell if he's really closing on Nema or not. It looks pretty stagnant between the two of them, depending on where they are on the racetrack.
Honestly speaking, it feels like that K9 is coming to its own here in these closing laps. Maybe he saved something we weren't expecting as he gets right to the back bumper and maybe even under the back bumper of the 18 in Nema Lang.
14 of Colton Price is rapidly closing on those two as well, so maybe Colton has a little bit left in reserve himself as they are gunning for it this next time around. 16 more times by as Fitzpatrick enjoying a comfortable lead over Nema, and Nema with a very racy Caden Holm and a rapidly closing Colton Price in behind him.
It's been a real impressive show from all 3 of these drivers. Of course, that's not even including the one who's leading, Chad Fitzpatrick, who is maintaining this solid lead over the 18 in Nema Lang, who it feels like might be starting to fall off. And you got to wonder, can the K9 make a move and take over?
They've done 110 times around our 3/8 mile at this point in time. Lang in the 18, the defending track champion, trying to hold off Holm, who's already on the podium, and trying to pick up one more spot here in the late stages. improve that finish, improve that paycheck a little bit, as there are extra bucks on the line between every position you can pick up in that top 3. And Colton Price doesn't want to be done passing race cars here on the evening.
No, he does not. Chad Fitzpatrick, a past champion in our street stock class. Naima Lang, a 7-time champion. Caden Holm, as we mentioned, looking for his first win behind the wheel of a late model. See if he can make it happen, but first he will have to get by Naima Lang in that 18. No, I guess fun little fact, those top 4, all of them except Holm, past champions out here at Evergreen Speedway.
That's right. Price, former mini stock champ, just a couple of years back. Down the back straightaway they go. Car length separates them as, boy, this race, you know, it's gone by quickly because we haven't had these long extended caution periods, but you're feeling it if you're in the seat at this point in time. Your race car is not working to its optimal capacity by any stretch of the imagination. And this next time by, only 10 more times around.
Just to put that in perspective, that's 115 laps down. I mean,
if I could do the quick math on it, I'd try to calculate the actual distance to it, but hey, you want to do quick math and just round 3/8 up to a half? It's like 60-something miles of racing. Long run. Fitzpatrick, 10 to go. Looking further back at the field, that's Gunderson's 33 and Lindgren's 88. Trying to work past the slower car, Brad Thomas at the 5. Chase Gardner's 32, getting some valuable seat time in there as well.
Well, as they go down the backstretch, this time it'll be 8 to go. That's one heat race of distance left for these guys. Fitzpatrick still your race leader, but second, third, fourth are all right together. It's like a little train we got as we ride along with Caden Holm in the K9 machine, right on the tail of the 18 and Naima Lang. Colton Price in hot pursuit of them both. And it looks like Caden Holm looking low. He's gonna go for it. Down to the inside, down the front stretch.
It finally opened up with just single-digit laps left. Caden Holm, what a exercise in patience he has had to go through. Pulls up to the door of Naima. Gonna try to bring Colton through with him. Down they go. Little wiggle off of Holm on the bottom, but he's got the preferred line around. Lang, with everything he has left, trying to hang on to it. But off a 2, give Holm the spot.
Yeah, advantage to Caden Holm. And now Colton Price gonna stick his nose in there, try and grab third for himself. Kick Naima Lang off the podium after all this time he spent in second. As Chad Fitzpatrick with 5 to go in the lead, running away now from Caden Holm.
You talked about the train. Well, that's the engine pulling the train. He is the leader of the classroom at the moment. And not a whole lot of laps left as we're going to look inside on Price and see if he can find anything on Naima. There it is off the bottom of turn number 2. Price deep into turn number 3. Working to the inside, right down on the rumble strip. And Colton Price almost is advanced to third.
He will stay right there into turn number 1 and 2 and out of 2 and onto the backstretch. Colton Price completes a run from 15th to 3rd in the number 14, taking over that final podium spot from the 18 and Naima Lang. And time running out for any last moves, 2 to go. And this time he will get the white flag, will make it 3/8 more around for the 12 of Chad Fitzpatrick.
So I did the math for you here. 125 laps on the 3/8 mile, 48.4375 miles around. Chad Fitzpatrick has led for nearly all of them. Probably the biggest win of his pro late model career, the Central Welding 125 goes to Fitzpatrick in car number 12. What a run for him. Holm, second. Price, what a rally to end up taking third. Fantastic, fantastic main event here in the Central Welding Supply 125. Derek is running trackside to get our winners' interviews here on the podium.
Well, Colton, that car is a long-run car. We've talked about that in the past. And tonight, you went from the back after an incident all the way to third place. What made that charge possible?
Oh, just all these guys back in the pits, all the time we spend at the shop, just everything that goes into this program. Bill Hunt for keeping us tuned up. He came out. I thought I had an issue today. Turns out we just had the wrong gear in the car. But Dane, Chris, Jeff, Jack, Patrick, my dad, my beautiful girlfriend, my mom, everybody that comes out and supports me. Northwest Boiler, Supreme Rockreed Excavation, Mazda of Everett, D2 Foundations. And there's so many people on this car. It just takes an army to do it. Wicked Wraps for the awesome looking race cars. I couldn't do it without all these guys. It just takes all of us to get this thing going. And man, I spun myself out there, got dumped the second time, and I didn't think I was going to be able to charge back through the field like I did, but this thing was hooked up, and I said with 25 to go that the right rear was gone off the car, but turns out there was a little left in the tank.
You put together a fantastic run tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, some more noise for our third place finisher, Colton Price. Perhaps it's a little cliche at this point to say that patience is the name of the game, but you sat there in wait behind Nema Lang, and with 8 to go, you finally made your move. I mean, is it tempting to take the shot just a little bit earlier?
It is, yes. But my spotter, Tristan, he just told me to save until the very last second if you have an opportunity to get him, which I see him, he kind of wasted his tires a little bit at the end, so I had an opportunity to get inside of him.
That K9 car was amazing all night long, running up front, running with Nema all night. Who would you like to thank for that machine?
I'd like to thank Joe's Racing, Johansson Mechanical, Country Financial, Selway, and my parents, especially my mom and my dad.
Driver of the K9, second place tonight. Make some noise for Caden Holm. Chad, tonight, before the events really got started and during FanFest, I was down over in the historical area speaking to a lot of those people, asking about stories, and a lot of them said that you've been a huge part of keeping that history alive. You've been an amazing person back behind in the pits, and now 2 years separated from the last time at the Central Building Supply 125 and Drivers Reunion Night. You pull it off and take the win home. The question is simple. How does it feel?
So accomplished. The streak is finally over, and it's so nice to have it on Driver Reunion Night. Althea was definitely helping me behind the wheel tonight. This is for her.
You put together an amazing run in that 12 car. All night you were dominant. All night you were up front. What is the secret to that number 12?
Tonight, the car was just all over the place. It was just as if you had an egg underneath your gas pedal and just pretend for that the whole 125 laps.
You put together an amazing run. Who would you like to thank for that performance?
First of all, Central Welding, then Trademark RCS, Mazda of Everett, Powder Coating Inc., Northland Contractors, Bardall, and my whole crew and everyone here, thank you.
Driver of the number 12, an amazing person on the track and off, Chad Fitzpatrick. To put his name on the $5,000 check. And there he goes, Chad Fitzpatrick, race winner of the Central Welding Supply 125.
Derek Todoroff, what a race for Chad Fitzpatrick. What an episode of Home Track Heroes.
Oh, man, a great episode tonight. We got 4 amazing main events culminating in that amazing Central Welding Supply 125.
More amazing main events coming up next week on Home Track Heroes. Figure 8 Nationals, 50-lap main events for the Outlaw Figure 8s, Super Stock Figure 8s, Stinger 8s, the Hornets and the Vintage Mods also in action. Then, Summer Showdown. Next time you can be at the track, Friday the 21st. Pro Late models are going for 125 lapper plus multiple support divisions. Saturday the 22nd, the Super Lates on the 5/8. It's going to be a blast. For DT on TV, the entire production crew, my name is Caleb Hart. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Sunday night here on Home Track Heroes.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on CW11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.